We have the body blank out of the clamps, but if you look at it, it's not flat and level. Some pieces stick up a little bit higher than the others, so I need to flatten this and thickness it. And to do that, I'm going to use what's known as a scrub plane. It's simply, in this case, a number 5.5 plane. I've got a blade in it that I've taken a file and toothed so that it's got a toothed blade. What that does is it allows me to take really deep cuts across the grain, against the grain, however I want to, and there's less chance of tear out, but also less drag, less friction, so that I don't have to work so hard. And it basically chops chips of wood off of the piece really fast so that I can hog off a lot of material very quickly. And I will, once I get it down close, then I'll come back with a regular, my Stanley 5.5 with a regular blade in it, with the chip wrecker set really close and a fine cut, and smooth everything out. And what I'm doing is I start going across the work piece. And I don't want to come all the way out to the other end, because then I'll blow out chunks of wood. So I'll work from the ends to the center. Once I hog off enough here, I'll flip the blank around. Excuse me. And come at it from the other side, again working towards the center. And I have a kind of a jig that I made, and you can use a router with it to kind of level this out. And it wouldn't have taken as much work, but the time that I would save is probably none. It's probably about the same amount of time when you figure that you'll be taking shallow cuts with a router blade, and then once you take that first cut and pass over the whole body blank, then you drop it down a couple of 16ths and take more. Now you see that I'm changing direction. But anyway, with the router, I would have to stop and make minute adjustments and all that. Wouldn't take any less time. It would just be a lot less hard work. But also it would be more dangerous, because I would have a blade that was spinning at like 6,000 RPM. With a hand plane, it's a lot safer in my opinion. And I like working with the hand plane. Now I've already done this to the reverse side of this blank, so there's a lot, like I said, like the last time that we talked, that you didn't see. And here I am checking to see what the situation is, how level and how flat. You see I'm working that outside edge. That's because that's a high spot. And one of the keys to leveling and then flattening something is you're taking material off selected areas to bring the thing down flat. Now I've moved to my Stanley, and I'll still take kind of a big cut out of this, but a lot lighter cut than what I was with the scrub plane. Because I'm close, and now it's just a matter of sanding the blank smooth. I won't sand it all the way smooth. It'll require some hand sanding and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to keep from taking too much material off of this blank, because it's all that I have to work with. Although I did see a really nice piece. I talked about using cedar in the last video, and that I really didn't want to do it because it was a softwood, but they use spruce on the top for acoustic guitars and arch tops, and so I don't see that would be a problem. And the piece that I saw looked really nice, so I might cap this with a piece of cedar. But now here I am checking the depth of the blank, and in actuality I think it's kind of like 1 9/16 or 1 10/16, depending on where you measure it. There's like a 1/16 of an inch variance, which is nothing when you're talking about handwork. But the surfaces are flat and they're square to one another. And that's what you're looking for. And now what I'm going to do, I take this combination square and basically I'm going to use it as a depth gauge to see how even I got the thickness and how square everything is, and it turned out really nice. So now the next thing I need to do is add the little ears of wood down toward the lower bout, the widest sections of the lower bout. And I have flattened the sides where these go on and flattened the bottoms of these pieces of wood so that they mate to the body blank well. And I have to ask you to excuse me, but I worked through the night, I worked until it started getting dark. And so I did what I could to brighten this up in post-processing, but the brighter it got, the more grain and nastiness was in the picture, so I just let it be. You can see pretty much what I'm doing, and that's what counts. All I'm doing is I'm just putting these 2 little blocks of ash to the outside in the areas I need a little bit of extra wood. And then I'm going to clamp it down. And this is a common practice in a lot of factories and things of that nature. If I were building custom guitars for a living, of course I would spend the money for the proper size wood to make a nice 2-piece body blank, or a nice laminated body blank like this, or whatever it was that I was looking for. But this is something that I'm building with what I have, and I think it's going to turn out great. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.